this video we will be going to study about the composition of the blood and the functions of the blood. Okay, so let's start what blood actually is. Blood, it's a liquid connective tissue. Okay, and this liquid connective tissue contains various cells like RBCs, WBCs, blood platelets. It contains different fluids. It contains the proteins like albumin and globulin. Okay, we will discuss that later. So first we will go with the function part. So the functions of the blood are, first one is transport. So it helps in the transport of dissolved gases like oxygen. It's carried from oxygen from lungs to the cells. I have discussed in one of my topics like the formation of the hemoglobin, one of my videos. Okay, so dissolved gases like oxygen from the lungs to the cell and carbon dioxide from cell to the lungs. So this is expiration and this is inspiration. So from inspiration we will get oxygen, from expiration we will expire carbon dioxide. So that is the first important function of the blood. Okay, so one more thing, what it transports the waste products. So transport of the waste products, for example water, for example urea. So these are the waste products which are transported by blood. Okay, then hormones are transported. Which hormones? Only endocrine hormones, the hormones from endocrine glands, or we can say them as the ductless glands. So they pour their secretions into the blood, then they are transported. Okay, so hormones are transported to other body cells. Then there is transport of the enzymes also. Okay, then there is transport of the nutrients. It transports nutrients also. Okay, for example glucose is there, it's a nutrient. Amino acid is there, it is a nutrient. Okay, vitamins are there. Okay, minerals are there, fatty acids are there, glycerol. So it helps in the and other substances from gastrointestinal tract to the body cells. So that is the transportation of the nutrients. So that is another function of the blood, the transport function of the blood. Okay, it also transports plasma proteins. Okay, which are associated with the defense. For example, blood clotting factors, antibodies, blood clotting factors. It also transports antibodies. Then there is a transport of blood cells also. WBCs are red blood cells. It helps in transportation of blood cells also. So this was the first function of the blood, which is transport, and it also transports other things also. The second function of the blood is maintains the body temperature. This also I have discussed in one of my videos, that is the structure and functions of the skin. You can go there, you can visit there. This function has been I have explained this function in detail there. So it has heat absorbing and heat cooling properties because of the water content. It contains water, so because of this water it has the heat absorbing capacity. It has the cooling property also. Okay, and it flows to the body, so heat can be lost from the body to environment, and this is by the help of the skin. So there are two things, one is vasoconstriction and second is vasodilation. Okay, so when the temperature increases in our body, then there is vasodilation. So vessels will dilate. For example, this is the normal size of the vessel, so this vessel will dilate. Because of the dilation there will be sweating, and then there will be evaporation, which will cause cooling. Okay, so the temperature will fall. When the temperature decreases, when the body temperature decreases, hypothalamus cell sends the nerve impulses to the blood vessels. Okay, so there is vasoconstriction, and because of the vasoconstriction, heat will be it will be preserved there. Okay, so because of this vasoconstriction and vasodilation, blood helps to maintain the body temperature. Third function is it controls pH. Okay, so pH of the blood, it must remain in the range of 7.3 to 7.4, otherwise it will begin to damage the cells. So it maintains the pH by the help of buffer system. Okay, so it will maintain the pH by the help of the buffer system. Fourth function is it removes toxins from body. Removes toxins from our body. So it helps in the removal of the toxins. For example, the kidneys that filter all of the blood in the body. Okay, so the toxins will be removed from the blood to the kidneys, and then kidneys to the urine. Okay, so blood will go to the kidneys, where the blood will be filtered, and then those toxins will be removed through urine. So that's one of the important functions of the blood also, because blood goes to the kidneys, so that is the important function of the blood. And fifth one, that is protection. Okay, the protection is because of the clotting mechanism. So clotting mechanism I have discussed in one of my videos in detail, so you can go there, you can learn about the clotting mechanism. Okay, so the clotting mechanism, it protects us from the blood loss. Okay, then there is one more thing, WBCs, these are the blood cells. Okay, so white blood cells of the blood, they protect us from the harmful agents, like they protect us from the bacteria, they protect us from the virus, they protect us from the toxins. Okay, by forming antigen antibody reaction. So there will be antigen antibody reaction, so that will be because of the WBCs. So these all are the functions of the blood. Now we will move to the second part, which is the composition of the blood. Before composition, we must know about the physical characteristics of blood. Physically, what blood is? So it is a heavier and thicker than water, we all know this, and it is more viscous than water. Okay, viscous than water, so it flows more slowly than water, and it has a sticky appearance and fills during the touching. Okay, you can feel the sticky appearance in the blood when you touch the blood. Okay, and the temperature of the blood is almost 38 degrees Celsius. Okay, and which is slightly higher than the normal body temperature, which is 37 degrees Celsius. Okay, so it has almost 1 degree slightly higher. Okay, and it has the alkaline pH of about 7.35 to 7.40. Okay, this is a pH, and it's alkaline in nature, slightly alkaline. Okay, and it occupies total 8% of the body weight. 8% of body weight. And according to average size, adult males will contain almost, the adult males, those contain almost 5 to 6 liters of blood, and female contains almost 4 to 5 liters of blood. That's about the males and the females. Okay, now we will move to the second part, that is the composition of blood. Composition of blood. Okay, that's very important. What is the composition of blood? What are the contents of the blood? For example, this is blood. Okay, so I will take the blood in the test tube, for example. Okay, so this is the blood. It contains almost 8% of the total body weight. Okay, and this blood contains two important constituents, two important components. Okay, so one component, that is the formed elements. If we will centrifuge it, so the formed elements, these are heavier, they will settle at the bottom. So almost 45% of the formed elements are there, and it contains plasma. Plasma is almost 55%. That's the percentage by the volume. Okay, so plasma, what plasma actually contains? Plasma has proteins. So this is, for example, plasma. Proteins are there. What is the percentage of the proteins? 7%. Okay, it contains water mainly, which is 91%, and other solutes are 2%. Other solutes 2%. That is the composition. Okay, by weight. This is the composition by weight. Now we have second thing, that is the formed elements. Okay, it also contains the formed elements, like, for example, this is the formed elements. Formed elements, platelets are there. Okay, 250 to 400,000, almost 400,000. So that is the normal platelet count. Then it contains white blood cells, 5 to 9,000 normal, and it contains RBCs, which are 4.2 to 6.2 million. Okay, so that is the composition of the blood. Okay, now these proteins, which proteins are present in the blood? Albumins are there, almost 58%. Globulins, 38%. Then fibrinogen, 4%. So these are the proteins. Then there is water. In other solutes 2% of the solutes are there. In solutes there is presence of like ions are there. So ions are there, okay. In solutes there are presence of nutrients, there is presence of waste products, gases and other substances, okay. This is in the solutes. Then we have platelets, then we have WBCs. So there are different types of the WBCs, okay. So white blood cells, there is presence of neutrophils. Then there is presence of lymphocytes, okay. Then monocytes, eosinophils and basophils. Almost neutrophils are almost 60 to 70%, lymphocytes are almost 20 to 25%, and monocytes they are almost 3 to 8%, eosinophils are 2 to 4%, and basophils are 0.5 to 1%. So these are the components of the blood. You can see these are all the composition, this is the components of the blood, okay. So now main components are plasma and the formed elements, okay. I told you about the plasma, it is the fluid portion. So this is the plasma here. This plasma, it is a fluid portion of the blood. It constitutes about 5% of the body weight. If you go, this is the concentration. So almost 5% of the body weight is because of the plasma, okay. And if blood is allowed to clot, then a clear straw colored fluid that will ooze out, that is serum. So there is a difference between the serum and plasma, okay. Serum. So what serum is? What is serum? So if blood is allowed to clot, so if we will allow blood to clot, then after some time a clear fluid will come out of that clot. So that is called as the serum, okay. So serum, it does not contain clotting factors, no clotting factors. So there are no clotting factors in the serum, while in case of the plasma there is presence of the clotting factors. So that is difference between the serum and the plasma, okay. So serum, it is almost similar to plasma except that serum does not have clotting factors, okay. And it contains all the vital substances except oxygen, which must be transported through the body, okay. And these vital substances include like digested food, salts, hormones, enzymes, okay, and the substances which are essential for clotting, okay, antibodies, these are all present in the plasma. And it contains 90% of the water, okay, 7% proteins, like 58% albumins, I have discussed it here, and globulins 38%, fibrinogen 4%. So these are all present, okay. And it's responsible for formation of blood clots, fibrinogen. It's responsible for formation of blood clots. Albumin is important in regulation of water movement between tissues and blood, okay. So it is important for the regulation of the water movement. Then there is globulin, that's an immune system support, and it's a transport, it helps in transportation also. And then there is fibrinogen, which helps in the blood coagulation. And other 45 components, these are the formed elements which are called as the blood cells, platelets, WBCs, red blood cells, okay. And 99% are erythrocytes, red blood cells, because they have an important function which is transport of oxygen, okay. So they have the important function. They have other important functions also. And 1% are WBCs, okay. If you will go, 99% WBCs are 1%, okay. And these platelets are also blood present there, okay. Platelets plus this are 1%. Platelets plus WBCs 1% and RBCs 99%. And here are these WBCs can be differentiated into two types. One is granulocytes, another one is agranulocytes. Granulocytes, neutrophils, eosinophils and basophils. So neutrophils, eosinophils and basophils, these are called as granulocytes, while as lymphocytes and monocytes, these are called as agranulocytes. And then we have already studied about the hematopoiesis or hemopoiesis, how the formation of blood cell occurs, okay. So that I will not discuss here. We have already discussed about the formation of this thing. Now if we will go to the first component, that is red blood cells or RBCs, very important, okay. The average normal RBC count for men, that is 5.4 million per microliter, and this is for men. For women it is 4.8 million per microliter. Okay, and they are teeny, means they are small in size. They are having 7.5 micron in the diameter and 2 micron they are thick, and they are biconcave like this. Okay, they are biconcave, and they are anucleate, no nucleus. Okay, and lifespan is 120 days. After 120 days they will die. Okay, and almost 5 into 10 raised power 11 RBCs are destroyed every day. Then these are formed by hemopoiesis also. Okay, and these are destroyed in the liver, these are destroyed in the spleen. And hemoglobin is the important constituent of the RBCs. Okay, important component of red blood cells. We have discussed about that. Okay, it's composed of a protein called heme, which binds to oxygen. Then in the lungs oxygen is exchanged with the carbon dioxide. Okay, so it is exchanged. Okay, there is an exchange, and abnormalities of individual's hemoglobin, it can indicate like defects in the red blood cell balance. So both high and low values can indicate diseases. Okay, disease states in our body. So that was about the hemoglobin. So we have already discussed about the function of the hemoglobin, that you can write in this also, composition and functions of the blood, but we have already discussed that. Okay, about this function and all, about the hemopoiesis all. Okay, and erythropoiesis, sorry, we have discussed about the erythropoiesis also in detail. So second type of blood cell is WBCs. So we have discussed about the WBCs also. In my previous videos we have discussed about the WBCs also, but the difference between WBCs and RBCs is RBC was anucleate, but it contains nucleus. And it has groups, I already told you, granulocytes and agranulocytes. Granulocytes, which are the granulocytes? Neutrophils, eosinophils and basophils are granulocytes. Lymphocytes and monocytes, these are agranulocytes. This we have already discussed. Okay, so one more thing is there, that is third, there are different functions of the WBCs. Okay, if you will go for the functions, they have different functions. They have monocytes have different functions, eosinophils have different functions, basophils have different functions. Okay, so all the cells are having the different functions. Okay, so almost now the third type of the cells, that is blood platelets. Okay, they have short lifespan, that is 5 to 9 days. They have a shortest lifespan, and they are disc shaped. Their shape is like a disc. Okay, and they have two types of granules in their cytoplasm. Okay, this is the cytoplasm. They have presence of granules, and granules are of two types. One is the alpha granule, and second one is dense granule. Alpha and second one is dense. These are two types of granules. These granules will release several chemical mediators which form the blood clots. So they help in clotting. Okay, they will release chemical mediators which will help in the clotting. Okay, if you will go to each cubic millimeter of blood, it contains 250,000 to 4 lakh platelets. Almost. Okay, and platelets have important function. They stop blood loss from damaged blood vessels. They will form the platelet plug, and the formation of the platelets, how it occurs, we have discussed that too in the process of the hemostasis. Okay, we have discussed that process of hemostasis in detail. We have discussed the process of coagulation in detail. If you want to add those things here, you can add those things also. Okay, but we have already discussed that. Okay, if you will see how platelets are formed, I will give a brief description here about how the platelets are formed. So the first stem cell, that is called as hemocytoblast. This hemocytoblast, it gets developed into megakaryoblast. This megakaryoblast then gets developed into promegakaryocyte, and this promegakaryocyte gets developed into megakaryocyte, and then this megakaryocyte gets differentiated into blood platelet. So that is how the platelets are formed. Okay, those stem cell which is present in the bone marrow, hemocytoblast, it gets converted into or differentiated into or developed into megakaryoblast, then into promegakaryoblast, then into megakaryocyte, and then into the blood platelets. Okay, so that is how the platelets are formed. Okay, so they have different functions also. So we will discuss here about the WBCs. Okay, so these are of two types, granular and agranular. So granular WBCs are also called as WBCs are also called as leukocytes. So granular leukocytes, these develop from myoblasts and they contain MHC antigen. Okay, MHC antigen means major histocompatibility antigen. So there is presence of MHC antigen in granulocytes. Okay, and it contains clear granules in the cytoplasm that can be seen under the light microscope, and it has two types. Okay, it is divided into three types. Sorry, first one is eosinophils. Okay, and this eosinophil, its granules produce red or orange stain, red or orange stain with acidic dyes. If they are put in the acidic dye, they will produce red or orange stain, which eosinophils, which are the first type of granulocytes. Okay, and nucleus of eosinophils, it has two lobes. If we will go to the structure, so the eosinophils, if you will see the structure of the eosinophil, it will be like this. The nucleus will be having two lobes, so it is a bilobed, like this. Okay, so eosinophils, these are bilobed. If we will go to the structure, okay, and they have a thick fiber also, and granules are large, they are uniform in size. Okay, then second one is basophils. Okay, so its granules will give blue purple stain, with basic dyes, not with the acidic dyes. With the basic dyes, they will give the blue purple stain. Okay, and its nucleus is irregular shape. It often forms a letter, we can say it often forms a letter S. Okay, so it's like this, its nucleus is like this. Okay, just like the letter S. So nucleus, if you want to differentiate eosinophils and basophils, eosinophils will have a bilobed nucleus. This is bilobed, two lobes, and this nucleus is S-shaped. In case of the basophils, the nucleus is S-shaped. Okay, and cytoplasmic granules are round and they will be variable in the size. Third one is neutrophils. Okay, and why it's called a neutrophil? Because its granules are neutral, they will not react with any of the dye, neither with the acidic dye, neither with the basic dye. Okay, and they will produce a pale like stain with mixture of acidic and basic dye, if there is a mixture of acidic and basic dye. Okay, and their nucleus contains 2 to 5 lobes, 2 to 5 lobed nucleus. So the nucleus can be either 2 lobed, nucleus can be either 5 lobed, like this. Two lobed, or it can be 5 lobed also. So this is the nucleus. Either it can be 2 lobed, either it can be 5 lobed. These questions are sometimes asked in the examination, so you must remember these. While in case of the neutrophils, the nucleus was bilobed. In case of the eosinophils, nucleus was bilobed and it produces red or orange stain. In basophils, the nucleus is S-shaped. While in case of the neutrophils, the nucleus contains 2 to 5 lobes. Okay, that is about the granular leukocytes. Now the second one is agranular leukocytes.